Well, disillusionment with the European project has brought in more support within Britain for the UK Independence Party, which believes that only pulling out of the EU will do. What's more, recent polls show that more than half of Britons agree with that statement. Well, let's turn now to party leader and EU MP Nigel Farage. Sir, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with us again. I want to get straight to the meat of this issue. I mean, your anti-EU party is gaining support among Britons, that's correct. But if the country leaves, I mean, won't it lose benefits of being part of the world's largest single market, as well as the freedom to live and work anywhere in Europe? I mean, your strategy could effectively isolate Britain in the global marketplace, couldn't it?
No, in fact, the isolation from the global marketplace is caused because we're members of the Single Market Customs Union. And what that means is that despite the fact that the UK is the world's sixth biggest trading nation, we are actually prohibited from having our own bilateral trade deals with any other part of the world. That has to be done on our behalf. So the UKIP message is simple. We love Europe. We want to get on with our neighbours. We want to trade with them through a simple free trade agreement, but then refocus British business to start concentrating on doing more deals around the rest of the world. This European model, this idea that Europe is what matters and the rest of the world can go hang, frankly, is decades out of date.
Well, decades out of date, as you say, but if you talk about this European love, I mean, how do you balance sort of having these member states working together to compete effectively in the world without some feeling like they're paying for their fellow members' failures?
Well, in a sense, this budget negotiation that you're seeing here is nothing unusual. I mean, every time the big decisions for the next 7 years come up, there are always countries that are donor countries that are a bit reluctant, and there are always recipient countries that are rather keen to push the budget up. And of course, the French always make sure that the common agricultural policy doesn't get reformed. The difference this time is that the split isn't just over the budget. The split is also about the Eurozone as well, because it's those northern countries that are members of the Eurozone who are really becoming increasingly reluctant to put yet more money into the Central European budget. And let's remember, nobody here is talking about cuts, not even David Cameron. What David Cameron is saying is that he's happy for us to go on paying £53 million a day as our membership fee of this club, with 2.7% inflation over the next 7 years. So nobody here is talking about cuts. It's just that the Parliament and the Commission want it increased by 5 to 6% per annum.
All right. Well, of course, the joke is that the reason that these budget talks happen every 7 years is because they're so difficult. But jokes aside, I mean, even Angela Merkel has doubts about the success of this. I mean, if she's unconvinced, what hope do the members have in coming to an agreement?
Well, I mean, there are very serious problems within the European Union at the moment, and particularly within the Eurozone. But let's not overplay the importance of this summit, because if they don't come to an agreement tonight, well, they can always come back in January and February. They've still got time to get this sorted out. So I don't think this summit itself, or the issues that are being debated today specifically, are the problem. I think the real problem is that Europe is now split from north to south in every way, politically, economically, and of course culturally it always was. And that's the real crisis within the European Union. And then there's the other dimension, which of course is the British angle on it. It doesn't matter what deal Mr Cameron comes back with today or in January or February, the 60% of Britons that now don't want to be members of this union don't believe there's any price worth paying.
And on the Britain issue, I mean, do you think that David Cameron really should be continuing to press the line about cuts in the EU budget? I mean, I know you say that you don't really think this is about cuts, but even to the point of vetoing the budget.
Well, but as I say, you know, Margaret Thatcher came here in 1984 and famously was said to have waved her handbag and threatened the other delegates. And she got a deal whereby Britain got a budget rebate. And we all cheered. And we said, do you know what? She's won a marvellous deal for us. And the price of membership of the common market is worth it. The point is this. The whole British debate has moved on so far that whatever deal Cameron gets will be unacceptable to 60% of the population. So he really is in a very difficult position indeed.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Difficult position indeed. Nigel Farage, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.